You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
Call to order the October 24th meeting of the planning board here at Whitcomb Hall. And I'll begin with the roll call. Scott Sell, I'm here. Richard Lane, here. Mark Scalera, he won't be here.
He's here, but not here.
On Zoom. Okay, yeah, but he won't be present here. Mark Scalera. Brandon Self. Here. Michael York. Here. Victoria Ames.
Here.
Charles Harbeck. Steve Malone, alternate. Michael Stunzio, alternate. And Jane Johnson, alternate. I will see Jane for Mark. And he's on Zoom, but we can't vote. No, in attendance only. So we can accept his discussions like any other person discussing it over Zoom or at the meeting there. It's just that you need to be in person to vote. So I'm seating Jane. So let's see. We have public hearings. We have approval of minutes for October 10th. Then we have public hearings, which is planning board 24-023. That's a boundary line adjustment application. Fieldstone Land Consultants have submitted the application on behalf of Asher Construction. Subject properties are shown at tax map 106, lot 52, and tax map 209, lot 4. Lots are in the industrial park and business districts. Item B under public hearings, the planning board 24-024 subdivision application. Cardinal Surveying and Land Planning have submitted the application on behalf of Tricia Abrams. Subject property is shown at tax map 253, lot 23. Lot is in the residence district. Then we have under discussions and other business, warrant article rough draft review, site plan review training, and any other business that needs to be taken care of. Back to the top, regional impact.
I'll move there as done.
I'll second. Motion by Michael York that there's no regional impact, seconded by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Now the approval of October 10th minutes, 2024. We have a motion to approve those minutes. So motion by Richard to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Michael York. Is there any further discussion, changes, or?
I abstain.
Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, we're taking care of that and brings us right up to public hearings. And that is the planning board 24-023. That's the boundary line adjustment. Somebody from Fieldstone is here, are they? No, not yet. Let's see, would you like to go before them?
Jane, sure. Did you
Just in
abstain?
case they'll be coming.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't.
All right, we'll give Fieldstone a little more time to come here and we will take planning board item B, which is 24-024. That's a subdivision application. Cardinal Surveying and Land Planning submitted the application on behalf of Tricia Abrams. The subject property is shown at tax map 253, lot 23, and allotted in the residence district. So we have the application here. It's a little further down. First item, let's have a peek at that. And let's see, they're asking for waivers, and that would be waivers to item number 8, 20, and 21. Item number 8 is location and profiles with elevations of existing water mains, sewers, culverts, drains, and proposed connections, or alternative means of providing water supply and disposal of sewage and surface drainage. And since none of those exist there, then the waiver should be granted because they can't put down what isn't there. Number 20, final road profiles and cross sections. They aren't putting any roads in there. Again, they're doing it, then they don't have to put it on there. Number 21, all drainage and erosion control plans approved by the CCCD if applicable, and what it is not applicable. So again, they don't need that there. So
I'll move that we grant the waiver.
motion by Michael York to grant the waivers and seconded by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, let's have a peek here. And we have the drawings in front of us on the table. And we have the application here. And you have it right up there, right? Okay, would you just go over the checklist for us? checklist of what is included on your plat? Thanks.
It'll be included in the, document that will be in it.
Even after just the appearance in the notes for future Dennis Abrams, he's deceased, 73 Hill Road. Scale of 1:30 or greater, yeah, 1:30. Campground zero. North Arrow, focus plan. Name and license and seal number. Boundary surveying, bearings, distances, and location of all permanent markers, so we have existing markers on the corners and proposed markers on the new line. Existing and proposed location profiles, that's what we have for labor on. Existing and proposed easements, right of ways, roadways, markers, etc. The existing house and shed on the lot and existing tractor shed, which this is approved, will have to be moved to be setbacks. The Hill Road side of the lot has a lot of wetlands, so that's what's delineated. So walls, they're just along the road. Property lines on the entire lot, and the frontages, total frontage on proposed lot 1 is 177.5, and then the frontage for this lot 2 is on Hale Hill, which has a total frontage of 278.32 feet.
Accessible.
Tax map and lot numbers, right now I just have them shown as proposed lot 1 and 2 until Avatar or the town tells me to make the change. The proposed contours, only existing contours is not being proposed for building at this time. Location of groundwater again is the wetlands, percolation tests and test pits. We did one on each property. First one's by the tractor shed, and second one's in front of the existing dwelling, or existing septic, and the leach field is over to the north of the house. Soil mapping types and slopes. So there is a dotted line going through here. There's only 2 soil types on this whole thing, Windsor and no deed restrictions, no open space to be preserved. Existing buildings and unabandoned structures, as I said. Existing and proposed streets, class names and rights of ways. So Troy Hill Road on this side, which is a class 5 road, and there's 20-foot paved. And Hale Hill Road is a class 5, also 20-foot paved. No road profiles, and no drainage. And no erosion control. State subdivision approval we just got today, and I gave to Adam. And no driveway permits at this time.
Thank you. All right. So, does anybody have any questions on the completeness of the application?
No.
I'll move this complete.
Motion by Michael York to accept the application as complete. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Richard. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Right.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, now that it's complete, then we will go into public hearing. I will open up the public hearing and a presentation from the surveyor. And I'll have you identify yourself just for anybody listening in.
Whenever you volunteer to part of the survey. Something Trisha had, so this is an existing lot that runs between the 2 roads, Troy Hill and Hale Hill Road. There's 3.27 acres currently, with one in the morning, traffic code and another shed. As I said, one portion of the lot has a lot of buildings. So it's proposed to divide this into 2 building lots. What we've done is kept 1.19 acres around the existing house. It has no wetlands up in this corner, so that means the minimum 1 acre. And the remaining lot has all of the wetlands, but there's calculations up here where 1 acre, 1+ acres. About 2 acres of buildable space when we subtract out all of the wetlands area. There is an existing tractor shed that will not meet setbacks, so that will have to be removed. She's unsure if she'll move it on to, but it's up to them. It will have to be moved. Proposal is for them to come and access and build on this side and actually break to the lot. And unfortunately, and it's mostly road drainage through here, but that's pretty much unbuildable over back. Roadside. Let's,
Okay, thank you. Any,
I have one question.
go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so the tractor shed being moved because of the setback, is that the property line setback you're concerned about or the wetland setback? Or both?
You hear her, Mark?
No, I did not.
She said that's a property line setback because the way the setback is now with the new line there, it goes through, probably the last 20 feet of that shed. And the
Right.
shed is quite a ways away from the wetlands delineation.
Is it? Maybe what I'm looking at shows the wetland delineation going right through the shed right now.
No, that's not. The wetlands delineation is the long line with a dot.
Oh,
Line and dot.
that's the wetland setback, and that is.
okay,
Only, that's what goes through the shed that you're seeing.
okay, me bad.
They'll have to get the front portion of this lot here.
If they were to build, they have to have.
Thank you.
Feet from there. You can't build on them.
Just a saying, it doesn't matter. As long as they have frontage on the public road, they don't have to use that as the driveway part of it. They can use if they have enough within, like, I think it's 50 feet they have to have a driveway in off of the other road. He was asking about your frontage there and that you cannot access it through Hale Hill Road because of the wetlands there, and that's where all your frontage is. But you do have frontage, and it looks like, what is it, 78 feet?
78 feet.
Okay, on Troy Hill Road, which is where the access to the lot is going to be, isn't that correct? Okay. And they can do that. As long as they have the proper amount of frontage. And let's see, any other questions? On the board? Let's see, I don't think I had any either, but. And that lot, I mean, that tractor shed either will be moved and retained on this lot or into the other lot. They haven't made up their minds yet, is what you said, correct?
Right, and we reduce its size because of the corner.
Yeah.
You can actually take off the sedge that's in the, they just haven't decided.
And when they do decide, obviously, to use a lot, the driveway, you'll have to have a town driveway permit,
Yes.
of course, from this other side here, if that's where it's gonna be, Troy Road there. But yeah, you don't have to have it for the subdivision. You just have to show that you can put a driveway in there, which you can put. Any other members of the public on Zoom and otherwise on this?
Is there a stone wall along that edge?
Here,
Yeah,
yes, there is. But there's also an opening right here where they already access the sufficient property.
how far does the driveway have to be off the line?
Let's see. I don't know off the top of the head. If it runs this way, yeah, there's a setback, but if it runs in like that, then it makes it. So depending on what the driveway permit, when they come in with a driveway permit, depending on where it goes, what it looks like as to where.
You can't break the stone wall. Put in driveway.
Yeah,
You can have a wall, you can do anything you want. Oh, yeah, so like your stone wall, you can do anything you
well,
want.
really, this is
A scenic highway or something,
yeah,
a designated.
designated scenic highway,
Okay.
and then they have to get permission from the town to. So,
We had, Jim, what's the name of the road that goes up higher?
Okay, sure.
Ash Hill. When the people came in, Hills, when they came in and wanted to subdivide that lot. they had stone walls along the edge there, and I believe we told them that they couldn't break the walls to create small lots or building lots in it.
I don't recall if we told them that or not, but if we did, we were probably mistaken, I guess, but I don't recall whether we told them that.
Yeah, we have anything in our ordinance.
No, we have nothing on ordinance. I know there's state rules about it,
On scenic highway.
but yeah, the town doesn't.
Hmm.
So any other questions?
I'm just, to go back to Richard's point, I'm just confused about it. So it seems like the spirit of the ordinance is that we require 150 feet, right, of frontage.
Mhm.
And I understand that there's excessive frontage on this other road, but it's not, to use it would require crossing a wetland, which wouldn't be permitted. So I'm just not seeing how the spirit of the ordinance is enforced by
Oh, it's,
allowing that the much smaller.
well, the
How does that?
spirit of the subdivision ordinance
Okay,
is satisfied because it says you have to have at least 150 feet frontage in this zone here for that lot or any of the lots there. And they do have abundance of that. It doesn't say you don't have to use that for your entrance into the lot. You can, if you have another entrance, as this one does have another possibility to go into that lot, you can use that. It does not have to be on your main frontage. Usually is, because that's usually the frontage of the lot, but in this case, they've got frontage on two different roads.
yeah, we don't often run into this kind of a situation, so I
Yeah, well, that's.
don't get it, but so 50 feet would be the minimum that would be required in this situation.
Well, it's 50 feet owned right of way is what we allow for a back lot.
Okay,
So it'd be,
so we revert to that.
couldn't be less than 50 feet if they wanted to put a driveway, but they have more than 50 feet there to do that.
Okay,
But again, the spirit is that you have to have that amount of frontage,
okay,
150 feet.
all right. Probably won't ever see this again, this kind of a situation, right? It's pretty rare.
As long as you may see it.
Mhm. Anybody else have anything before I close the public hearing? Nobody on Zoom has anything, I guess?
Marvin, too.
Okay. So what, he doesn't count? Is that what you mean?
He got one price.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Then I will close the public hearing. So again, we've got it before us, pretty straightforward subdivision right there. They've shown everything that they need to show on it. They can get a septic system in, they got the perk test in there, get a well in there, we got the radius for the well in there, both lots. They are going to move that building, and that would probably be in a motion as well, just to make sure it's on the record that they're going to move that building, do something about the setback in that building. Everything else? It's okay. So I guess,
Move to approve with the condition that the tractor shed be relocated at some
Yeah.
point.
yeah, relocate, yeah, just out of, out of that setback area. It's got to be relocated. So, yeah, the motion to approve by Victoria with the condition that that tractor shed be moved out of the setback area. Is there a second? I'll second. Seconded by Brandon. Is there any further discussion?
Does there need to be some sort of a time constraint on the movement? That feels big.
I don't think
I don't either.
it would be on the approved plans.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they go to get a building permit,
Got
they'll
it.
look over the minutes and say that that thing wasn't moved, so you're getting your permit. So, and was a second, did you second it?
I seconded.
Seconded by Brandon. And any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? There you go.
Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, we only need one. Okay.
Okay, it looks like we're going back up the line here to item A. Even though Fieldstone isn't here, we can still look at this. If we have any questions that are pending that we don't get, then we can continue it in another meeting.
They have to be here.
They don't have to be here. If they submitted the application and we're okay with that and we're okay with what they have on there,
We could approve it without that.
we could approve it, or we can continue to another meeting if we want them to be here.
He received his notice. He had everything ready to go. I'm not sure where they're at, so.
You're not sure why he's not here, is that what you?
Yeah, I haven't received a.
He was planning to come here, but snubbed us.
Haven't received any notification.
Might have been tied up with something, but we can still look it over and see.
If he's picking us up pizza.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that could be. All right. Back. So it looks like they're doing a lot line adjustment. We were looking at this before. I think everyone has the copy there in front of you, and you can see what they're doing there. It's that pool place by the looks of it on Route 12. And it looks like they want to take a little bit of that lot 209 for. So that big thick line is a lot line to be abandoned, which is what the property line is now. And the new lot line would be right as you show, let's see, proposed lot line, it says it right on there for that corner proposed lot line. So we see what they're doing. Doing a simple lot line adjustment. And again, it makes no new lots. One makes this lot bigger. We don't really know why, but we don't really need to know why they're doing it because they have some reason for storage or whatever. They have to be in before the board anyways, before they utilize or expand their business. And anyone have any questions on the completeness of the application? They have everything on there that we need for a lot line. We don't actually usually require all of this information for a lot line adjustment because again, it's usually between two property lines, but they've given us quite a bit there. Let me just look through. This is Ashes, so let me just read the application here. So, see, it's Asher Construction, LLC, Asher Road, Sharon, New Hampshire. And the owner of record, Monadnock Homestead LLC, 233 Monadnock Highway, Swanzey. And then the other boundary line adjustment or the other boundary line or property holder actually would be Sapphire Business Park LLC. That's map 209 lot 4. That's the big one they're taking it from. And street address is Sapphire Drive. Max map, parts of B, we got map 106 lot 52, map 209 lot 4. 9 lot 4. 652, yep. Zoning district, industrial park, where it is. Surveyor was Michael D. Kloof. 6 Elm Street, Milford, New Hampshire. And let's see, and there is his stamp right there, and he has signed it. Okay. And that will be that there. So it looks like we have a complete application. Anybody think we don't?
Do they have water and sewer here? They do, don't they?
They do, yeah, it runs right by the front
It's
of that
shown
property.
on there.
Let's see, yeah, they've shown it right there, the W and the S, you can pick it up like right in front of. It's,
They would be on.
Yeah. you can pick it up, let me just pull this closer. You can pick up the water right there and the sewer right there. There's a manhole right there. And you can follow it up.
Corner, right before there. Scott, are they on?
Yes.
Also,
These guys, a pool place, I don't think so.
where does it stop? It stops somewhere down.
There's a manhole right up in here, right? Is it right there?
They do an apartments over there.
Maybe, yeah, that might be the last manhole there, but it looks like they extended it up here, so I'm not exactly sure. They don't show a manhole at the end, hole at the end. It usually ends at a manhole, so either they left it out or just stops at that manhole to serve those 2 lots there.
So it may not serve these parcels.
It may not come up that far. Don't know. Anything else there? Yeah. So does it look complete?
I'd say so. I'll second.
Motion by Michael York to accept the application is complete, seconded by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, can give by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so let's just, nobody's here, but let's just have a public hearing. I will open up the public hearing on the lot line adjustment. And again, we know what they're doing there, and it is a simple lot line adjustment. It's like they're just gaining more property for whatever reason. And any
Right.
discussion? Yeah.
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 Just going back to something that Mike brought up to me when he was still our.
Mike Jasmine you're talking about? Yeah.
Right. He wasn't satisfied with what was going on here.
That's lot 2094.
Right.
Yeah.
And because of the ambiguity, of actually, why this is happening, I'd like to have them come in and show us before we approve anything as a board.
So you want to know why they're doing it
Yes.
for approval? That's not really a reason to deny it. I don't
Well,
think.
I'm not denying it. You had brought up
Oh, yeah.
the aspect of having
Yeah.
them come in and showing us
Yeah, I
exactly.
can have them come back in. I mean, come in again. We can just continue it to another meeting if you want to make that a motion. But, you know, it's a simple lot line adjustment.
It doesn't matter to us
It does
right
not-
now.
does not
what we're
matter
doing
why.
with it.
No,
If they were proposing building a building on there, that'd be a different story, but all they're doing right now is just adjusting that lot line.
anybody else?
So they own, this is one ownership, this entire area, right?
No,
No,
Let's see. It looks like the 2094 is, that's what you're talking about, the 2094 lot? Yeah, that
Yeah.
lot there is the area you're talking about right there.
so she was including this one.
Oh, no, it's not 106.
Yeah.
Not the pool place, no. It's just,
Okay.
it goes beyond, it's this part.
I guess I'm just not clear on what's happening here. So then, all right, so this is just something else, okay? So the owner of this lot
Yeah, there you go.
is
Going to convey
conveying this parcel to these
to the
people?
pool place, yeah.
Okay. So we've got two owners, two people. and
That's
this
right,
owner.
yeah.
Okay.
And they're butters, of course.
Okay.
So that's where the lot line adjustment comes. It doesn't go anywhere, nobody else is affected except
Okay,
for them. And basically it's an agreement between two property owners.
okay.
Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? Or just Mark? Just Mark. Okay.
Just little old me.
So, any other questions from the board? If not, I will close the public hearing. Then the public hearing is closed. So, will it be? The simple lot line adjustment.
Yeah, I think we approve it. I'll send
The
second.
motion to approve by Michael York, seconded by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Then they're approved as well.
Yep.
So it brings us down to discussions. And we'll start with our warrant article rough draft review. And we have some right here in our package.
These are the ones that were sent to the lawyer. He sent back corrections and recommendations. The general gist of what I have written is staying the same. That's not what he was correcting. He was
Okay.
correcting the language. And I can actually take you through
Yeah, let's
the exact language of
let's see what he's talking about as opposed to ours, but
Yeah, that's not printed because I just got it, but we can walk through it.
this is it though, right? That's you
it.
gave us here, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay. And we're starting at the article. Yeah, we've got Article 2 here. So you were gonna go through it? you said?
Yeah, so let's go through what I have written.
Okay.
And we're gonna go through what Cordell suggests.
Yep.
I think that'll be easier.
I just went to
Yeah. Actually. I think that one right there is fine.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
So. Let's see here. And I'm going to read the corrected language that Cordell sent me, and again, the information is pretty much the same, so. You'll see Article 2 is a placeholder. I don't know if it's gonna be Article 2 or if it's usually Article 2, that doesn't. So amendment number 1, I want to put the definitions amendment first, so people understand what we're doing before we get to the meat and potatoes. And those definitions will include the professional business offices, at least for now, and then service establishment and retail establishment. That definition for retail establishment hasn't been challenged yet. If it does get challenged at all, I'll let you guys know. And then he had some thoughts on service establishment that we'll get to, and he had some thoughts on office. So those are the definitions. Does anybody have any questions on how I have that written in the packet?
Nope, pretty good.
And I'm following the language from previous years, so everything should be pretty much copy paste. It should be pretty easy to read, and then we'll also have an explainer about why we're doing all of this. So, moving down to amendment number 2, the proposed amendment number 2. It will start by amending section 4, article A.2, and that is a special exception line, and I just realized I don't have it
Adam,
written.
would you repeat that, section 4?
A.2.
A.
That is a special exception, and I guess this is why it's good that we're doing this, because I don't have it worded out here of where that is listed. So let's go to section 4, A.2. And I believe it's in the village business districts, but I don't want to lead you guys astray. Section 4. Yep, section 4, actually, it's a rural agricultural district, so that'll be our first amendment. The reason why it's gonna be our first is because it's the first mention of offices. So in the rural agricultural district, there is a special exception that can be obtained for a a corporate office. That will obviously be changed to whatever our office phrase is. If we keep it professional business offices, that's what we'll change that to, obtainable by special exception in the rural agricultural district. Does anybody have any questions there? Yes.
For the sake of the minutes. First said the amendment number 1 would be definitions.
Yep.
And now amendment number 2 would be the section. Now you're saying this would be amendment number 1?
Nope, sorry, this is the amendment number 2 still.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
Yep. Amendment number 2. So, does anybody have any thoughts?
I think had we decided on professional business offices?
We have, but Cordell has a suggestion for us there.
So what's the suggestion?
So there is, weirdly enough, a definition for professional in our ordinance. I don't know why it's there. We have so many things not defined, but we define professional. It's very strange to me. And it may cause some concern, especially with service establishments. Let me go through his thought process here. So I'm going to read what Cordell wrote, and then we can talk about it. This is coming off of a thought that he had. The second, professional offices. So he says, interestingly, you have a definition of professional in the ordinance, and in the ordinance uses the term professional offices in several places. Obviously, the goal of this is to condense those mentions and get rid of some of those redundancies. He offered up a good definition of professional offices. So I think his main hang up was you could consider what we have our definition for service establishments. A lot of those uses could also be considered professional offices because professional as defined in our ordinance will include stuff like lawyer, dentist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he's saying there's overlap between service establishment and professional business office. And if we want to fix that, now is the time to do that. One of his suggestions was to separate out again service establishment into personal service establishment like we have it now.
You mean, he's saying to another definition of personal service establishment?
Yeah, so
As opposed to ours, just service establishment?
So I like our definition of service establishment.
Mhm.
But it does cover a lot of professional occupations such as lawyers. And there is overlap between that in our current office definition. So we need some way to eliminate some of that overlap. Maybe, if you guys
Because
feel
the
like,
professional part of it, you're saying the professional
Exactly.
is overlap,
yeah,
but again, does it matter? If it fits, it fits, you know, a dentist could be a service, I suppose, establishment. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Or is that what he's saying, right?
yeah,
And then also it's a professional, which is pertaining to, their definition goes doctor's dentist.
yeah.
So does it matter?
I don't know if it matters, and I don't think it's gonna be anything that comes back to bite us.
I don't think it matters. Are we? We're considering replacing that professional. I think we have professional service establishment somewhere in the zoning,
It would just be service establishment, is what we're proposing.
but we have professional service establishment in the zoning. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Well, we have professional, it's just straight up professional, and he's recommending that we
We
can,
have professional under definitions,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay, but we have professional service establishment in our zoning. I'm trying to think if we do.
nope, it's
We have a personal service shop or service establishment.
Okay.
It's one
Okay,
definition.
those are
we
the ones
have.
we're replacing there.
And
Then
those
we
are the-
have professional, comma, business office. We have professional, comma, business or corporate office. And I guess those are the,
yeah,
Okay, so those are the ones that we're changing as well. Yeah, we're changing them to either corporate office or just plain office, I think we had talked about before.
yeah. So, and one of the things we could do to help with this is we can consider just deleting the definition of profession. That was one of his recommendations.
Yep.
Why we have it in there, and I'm not saying it's bad to have it in there, I'm saying for Swansea, considering what we do and don't have defined, it is strange that we define profession. And if we want to get rid of that definition, it would maybe close some of these overlaps. It wouldn't eliminate them, but it would maybe help.
But if we're eliminating professional offices or professional corporate offices, then the word professional doesn't even come up anymore.
The only way it would come up is in our proposed definition for offices, which is professional business offices.
That's what we're proposing?
That's what we landed on last meeting. We can look at that again. And figure out if we want to keep that. I mean, I don't even think we need. We could go just professional offices, and then in the service establishment definition, we can add something in there that alludes more to the trades.
I don't think we need professional offices, business offices perhaps.
Business
But
offices.
just not professional.
No, I disagree. I think we need the definition.
No, I'm saying, drop the professional offices off of there, professional business offices, and just use business offices.
Which is one of the recommendations.
That's one of his recommendations.
So Cordell said if you want to distinguish between the two uses, you might call the first one business offices and define it as blank. And then he's recommending we have a business offices and a professional offices. But then that kind of leaves our service establishment definition in limbo. So we can do that. There's a lot more work to be done if we do want to go that route, which is not a bad thing.
Well, yeah, I think,
If it's needed.
that, yeah, if he's suggesting drop the professional off of there, that's probably a good idea to drop it off of there. And use just business offices.
Yeah, so just for clarity, I know this is a lot of information. Cordell is actually proposing, instead of our current 4 office uses, he's proposing splitting that up into 2. At our last meeting, we had landed on professional business offices as our 1 office use. Cordell's proposal, if we want to get rid of some of these questions that might come up, is have the first office use be business offices. And he provides a definition on the first page of the sheet that I handed out. Right there. That's the business. Which we don't have to use, but it's a good starting point. The second one would be professional offices, and that would be real estate, lawyer, dentistry. et cetera. And then if we wanted to go revisit our definition for service establishment, we could lean more into the trades with that definition. So we could word it in a way that alludes to tradesmen and I don't know what you call, hairdressers, tattoo artists. I don't know what you. It's a trade. It is a trade. So tradespeople, we could throw the word tradespeople in that definition to more so align it with the trade. And then these definitions would align it with professional, quote, professional uses, what's historically known as professional. I don't know. That was my initial thought when I was reading this really beefy email. That was his recommendation. Another recommendation he had was to just put personal service establishment. A lot of municipalities have personal service establishment to allude to hairdressers. However, I don't necessarily think it's needed in all cases, especially in Swansea. I think in our use cases, how we are proposing it, it makes a lot of sense. Open suggestions. It's a lot of information. So
That explanation was so much more clear. than all this.
It's a
Thank
big-
you, thank
it's
you.
a big, and it's a wall of text and information. I will, the most important piece of this information is on the first page. His definition of business office and professional offices, I like. I don't believe we need personal service establishment. I think our definition for service establishment covers not only what we would consider like contractor phase, that was all started. It also covers hairdressers and the like.
So I think what we were thinking when we talked about service establishment was that service establishment, those skilled services would include things
It would,
like what he has under professional offices, medicine, dentistry, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
and it would, it still could. I'm not saying we need to eliminate that portion altogether. I'm not saying we need to change anything.
Yeah,
But this would maybe be a bit more clear.
yeah,
If it's needed, I don't even know if it's needed. He was even questioning whether or not. I mean,
Whether or not we're still talking about personal service establishment.
all of it really.
Yeah, I don't think we need that either.
His main reasoning behind that is professional business offices will be allowed in the business district, but service establishments will not be expressly permitted. So if a lawyer wants to open up shop in the business district, they would be classified as a professional business office. But if they wanted to open up shop and say VB2, they could do either or. They could do professional business offices or service. So like, I mean, that's not a bad thing necessarily, but there's a bit of a gray area.
So we're looking to clear it up then.
We're looking to clear it up.
We've
Yes,
got professional business offices. We might drop that and just have business offices,
yeah,
which would probably be a good idea. Business office, and let's see, our current. Let's see, definition, building or buildings used primarily for conducting the affairs of a business, profession, service industry, or government.
mhm,
And we've crossed out or like activity, which may include ancillary services. Such as a restaurant, coffee shop, and so on and so forth. Now, he had his as building or buildings used primarily for conducting the affairs of a business, industry, or government, which may include ancillary services for office workers such as a restaurant, coffee shop, healthcare, facility, or daycare, which it seems like it's a bit of a shorter one. I like his better than ours. Ours is a little bit longer, I think. But
Yep.
So that's a pretty good definition if we wanted to put that whole thing in there. I don't know anybody else, and just use it under business offices.
And then if we wanted to keep just one office definition. And we keep our service establishment definition, we may want to look into expanding where service establishments can go zone wise. He's saying they're not expressly permitted in the business district, which I think that's a pretty easy add. I mean, unless you guys disagree with me, and
And again, you're talking about which, one or all of them?
Just the service stat,
Service
our new
establishment, yeah.
proposed definition
Yeah.
for service stat.
And I think definitely, yeah, I think that was one of what the board was gonna do is make it clear that service establishments are allowed in the business zone as they should be.
And if that's not currently allowed in the business district, which I don't believe it is, but I am double checking.
Well, there was that gray area that it looked like it was, but then interpreting, I think it was, ZBA kind of sidestepped that one. They didn't even touch that one.
Nope, it's not. So service establishments, or as it's currently known in our code, personal service shop, comma, service establishments, those are not currently allowed in our business district. I think it's an easy add.
Pretty sure.
If, maybe Mark online. Was Mark online?
He's supposed
I
to.
am.
Mark, do you have any thoughts so far on all this? I know it's a lot.
Well, it is a lot, and the handout that you have, I have to go back and forth looking at an email. The only point I was going to make is, and it might be a moot point here, is I'm okay with a broad definition, specifically whether it's professional business office or business office. Because as we work into each zone, the industrial park, for example, those offices are going to be of a certain type, right? We go to a corporate, they're going to be of a certain type. We go to a business zone, they're going to be of a certain type. Even though that definition is broad and covers it, it still has to be an actual permitted use in those zones or a special exception that is agreed upon. So I guess I don't know if it's a moot point. I think we kind of moved on from that already a little bit. But as far as the other stuff, it's a bouncing ball. I'm trying to follow it.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
So we're talking about replacing what we currently have listed as a use, personal service shop or service establishment. That will be replaced with service establishment. And currently, if my cheat sheet is up to date, we currently are silent on allowing what would be our new service establishment in business and commercial/industrial.
And I think those are pretty easy adds.
Yeah, okay, good.
I was reading over the
That's what it should
definitions
be.
for those two zone districts. I think
Okay,
I don't think it's going to be controversial
Okay.
at all to add those. And it'll just give more flexibility.
yeah.
So in the business zone anyways, we've got, it was item F, which said retail sales services. That is going to be replaced by retail establishments. And then probably another line item that says, and again, which is our actual word, service establishment. So that'll be another line item, unless we have it on the same line and service establishments, it could go there as well.
Yep.
Because we had retail sales and services, which that covered that until it didn't.
Yep.
So maybe retail. So we'll replace on F, we can put in the retail establishment and a service establishment.
And I like how clean that is. Currently, the way we have retail and services set up, it's not clear and it's rather confusing.
Yep, so we'll clear it up. So in businesses,
Yep.
we'll clear it up there. Where else do we have that? I think we have it listed somewhere else in there.
Yeah.
Like that. So let's clear that one up too.
Yes, so that's kind of the
Yep,
gist
we
of
have
what.
We have it right in, it's a commercial industrial. So let's do the same thing, commercial industrial. We have item 11, retail sales. We'll replace that with retail establishments and service establishments.
Yep.
I'm on page 35. So we'll replace that one there. That'll be in industrial park. That's page 35 of our zoning there.
You're gonna replace,
Sorry.
what are you replacing?
So we're replacing item 11 under the uses permitted. That is in section 6, commercial industrial.
Okay,
So they are replacing item 11, which now says retail sales
okay.
and services. We're replacing that with.
I understand what you're replacing it
Okay.
with. I didn't know in the
Okay.
beginning.
Yep, that's it right
Retail
there.
sales and services.
And service establishments. Because the
No,
service,
it was originally though, retail sales and services.
that's correct. That's
Retail
correct.
sales, comma, service.
And that's what ran into trouble.
That's what I wanted to identify here as being replaced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yep. And business was the same way. You got that one right, Beverly?
I have that one.
Business we had, and that was under, let's see. Yeah, you got that one already
I
then.
think I do.
And that was item D under, got it also. No,
I'm not sure I have that one.
it was in the business, we just did that one, business district, and it was item F, I believe, wasn't it? It was F, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, item F under that. So let's just back up for a second here and go to the village business one.
Yes.
Now, we have personal service shop or service establishment. We are changing that. That's item G rather.
Yeah, and we,
So,
if you guys want to flip back to the last couple pages of your packet, this is going to be amendment number 3. So village business 1 will be amendment number 3. And that is as shown there, no real edits from Cordell except for the language to make it more easy.
okay, yeah, with retail establishment, perfect, yeah. But then in service establishment, item G will be service establishment then, okay?
And then, yeah, amendment 4, it will be business, and then I'll slot in, service establishment. And whatever letter we're on there under uses.
I'm sorry. Going back to the business one,
Yeah.
on the G, did we strike shop out of that?
Was it regular business? Are you under business? Section 5, that's in village 1, right?
Yeah.
You're in village 1.
Under G,
And under G, yeah, we are doing, and that's listed, you said that was item number 3 here. Village business 1, yeah, item 3 on our packet here. So we're striking F, which says retail business establishment now. We're striking that out and putting retail establishment. And then item G, and it's right in the packet there.
yeah,
And item G, we're taking personal service shop or service establishment out and replacing it with service establishment.
Correct.
Yeah, right in the packet.
We were getting into a lot of trouble because of that, or personal
Yep.
service shop or service establishment.
It clears it up a lot.
This should work. And I want to know if we run into any problems throughout 2025. So it's not the end of the world. Cordell had very good suggestions. We're going to implement some of them and they're not going to be very disruptive. But if we feel in 2026, like, oh crap, we should have done this, we'll do it.
Okay.
That's not.
That sounds like every year.
Exactly.
We do that every year.
And so if what we're doing now, if we run into an issue where that didn't quite work, we'll get it. If you look at our uses compared to some of the municipalities around us, we are very unique in a way that I think is good. I don't think we need to get into the nitty gritty with a lot of the stuff with how big Swansea is. I like some of the vagueness that we offer. I think it's important to look at every application as it is and as it relates to the ordinance. I don't think we need to just define every.
So, and
So-
just point of, so all the rest of this, where it says professional business offices, you are deleting the word professional. Is that correct?
I think so.
I think we should.
Yes,
yeah.
that was, I
I
think
think
we're
so.
there. Yeah.
So I think we're gonna strike out professional there.
And business offices will remain and retail establishment will remain, but.
Yep.
But professional change the
Yeah,
words.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Do you want this entire thing in this documented in the minutes?
If you want to. I mean, I don't
We
know.
really don't need, I don't think we need to.
We have a nice video too.
We're gonna be going over this a couple more times,
Okay.
a couple more meetings there.
Okay. I
got a
will
couple
I will
more.
just highlight
Just
it.
hit the highlights, yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Yeah,
All right.
there's a lot, and it's
Yeah, there
dense.
is.
Yeah.
But in the packet, Adam's got it written down
Yeah,
pretty systematically in our packet.
I hope
To go
it's
through it.
easy to read.
And it's easy to read, easy to understand, and makes a lot of sense.
My comment to Adam is, do we really want to make it this clear?
Yeah, exactly. And if we can clear up confusion, we want to do that. Does anybody have any concerns about any of this? I feel like nothing really materially is changing. It's just the wording that's changing. I think if we haven't run into any issues now besides that lawsuit, which we probably should bring up, but besides that, we haven't run into any issues. And I feel like we're going to continue not running into any issues as long as we do our jobs, you guys do your jobs. I think we should be fine. And if we feel like this should change again, we'll run it back in 2026.
Yeah, let's make some notes.
I don't think we need to get into the nitty gritty in every single definition. I think it's not going to do anybody any good in Swansea. Probably does a lot of good in Keene, and our surrounding cities, but in Swansea, I just don't think we need it.
Yeah, I don't,
Until we need it, we don't need it.
yeah, do it as we're doing it now.
Exactly. I think our ordinance is very good as it is.
Did the board decide whether or not we should take professional out of our definitions in the zoning? Just remove it completely or leave it in?
And that'll be a new,
Okay, so that'll be another one that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be removing
yep,
professional, the word or definition professional out of the zone.
yes, and that will be amendment number 1, and there'll be another line item.
Okay.
Where I just strike through the entire definition.
Because we're using amendment number 1 to do all of the definitions.
Exactly.
Okay,
I initially was worried that we would be running through our, the number of amendments, but
yep,
the way we have it written now should be fine. And we can even add a couple, if you guys feel like.
the definition part of it, right? Because we can cover it under one
Yep, exactly.
article. Perfect.
So that'll be slotted in. That'll be the 4th thing added to our amendment.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I'm confused here on some things. If we're deleting professional out of our definitions, then looking at what the attorney sent us, where do you put professional offices in the definition for that?
we are removing the word professional and using business offices in our definition.
And so you're not going to delineate between what professional offices and or
No, we are,
personal service establishment.
no.
Unless you guys
We
want.
can, yeah, we can if we want them. We use his, because he has the definition of professional offices here.
And then the problem with that, this is what we were getting into, me and Cordell. If we do have those two, then our service establishment definition needs to be a bit more specific on tradespeople. We need to include a line somewhere in that definition that alludes to that being toward tradespeople, and then these two be for more just traditional office.
But we can use that same
Yeah.
use for both things.
We can, yeah.
So, yeah, and again, we aren't a big city, we're Swansea here, so
Yeah.
I think that will work fine for us, rather than
If we
having
use-
another one in there.
I'm sorry, if we use service establishment,
Professional, I think, professional business offices and,
but you just said you're deleting professional.
the word professional from the.
Yeah,
That's why
it's
it's
like-
so-
Then if you look at this personal service establishment, at the end of his definition, personal service establishment does not include motor vehicle related services, tattoo shops, or professional offices.
But we aren't using personal service establishment at all in there. We're just using ours right here. We're using that right in the packet. Forget about the lawyers one there,
And that wasn't our definition. That was somebody else's definition.
out of that long one over there.
Yeah, that wasn't our definition.
Our definition is simple and straight to the point.
Mhm.
So we're using service establishment for the zoning.
Yeah, and the thing with service establishments, a lot of municipalities don't include tattoo parlors in their personal service establishment definition. I don't necessarily agree with that. They take up the same traffic. It's the same look. It might be a bit more stylized, sure, but parking's generally the same. Clientele, the number in the building's generally the same. So if we want to delineate between the two, we can. Yeah,
I think that was decided back when tattoos were
right. Yeah.
shocking, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Probably so.
Yep. But again, if we decide that this was a mistake, we will fix it in 2026. I don't think it will be a mistake, but we have the option in the next year.
So let's just run down what Adam has here.
Yeah.
And we'll just review it. Because we'll right from the top, amendment 1, we've talked that one over.
Do you want me to read off the lawyer's language changes and then you guys could follow along to see what he changed?
He changed it in here.
He changed it in an email today.
Oh,
So,
today, it's above and beyond what we have in here then.
Yes, that is the same pretty much. But I want to read this just so you guys can see exactly what he's changing.
So, if you pick out the changes,
Yep.
let's have a look.
All right. So we're gonna start with amendment number 1. And the lawyer's phrasing is, are you in favor of the adoption of amendment number 1 as proposed by the planning board to amend the Swansea zoning ordinance as follows? That stays the same. Amend section 13 by adding / amending the following definitions. So that is different from what I have printed. His is a bit more clear. And then it reads the same.
That's fine to me. It sounds like instead of that adding, yeah.
Exactly.
Or subtracting. That's fine.
The only difference in amendment number 2 is amendment number 2 reads, amend section 4, article A.2 to read as follows. So no changes there. Yeah, no changes to amendment number 2. That's good. He did specify in amendment number 3, so moving down 1, he did want to specify, his says, amend section 5, article A.1.f and G to read as follows. So he wants to list out every one that's changing. So
Yeah, that's fine. That's him being an attorney. So, yeah.
absolutely.
And that is exactly what we're doing, F and G.
Yep. And then if we go down to 4, same thing, he's just saying amend section 5, article B.1.E and F.
Okay.
To read as follows.
Yeah.
And then follows. And then amendment number 5, same changes. His reads amend section 5, article C.1.E, F, and J to read as follows. And then we got 6. 6 says amend section 6, article A.1.D, 6 and 11 to read as follows. This is the section of the ordinance that is organized differently than all of our other sections. That's a future problem. I don't think we need to fix that quite yet. And then 7, which is way spaced out for some reason. I don't know how that happened. Same thing. Just amend section 6, article B.2.C to read as follows.
Yeah, those are fine suggestions there, you know, doing his job and just clarifying it.
So
No problem with that.
So that was very helpful. Him and I are gonna continue, we're probably gonna have a meeting at some point in the next couple of weeks before our next meeting. Because we have it abnormally long, we have 3 weeks. Yeah, we got 3 weeks until our next meeting, so.
Okay. Let's just take it from the top on the packet that Adam gave us there, right from amendment number 1. We want to make sure that we're clear in agreement what is being changed and what the wording is, what it isn't there. So it's amendment 1, and what we are changing there, we are adding service establishment and that definition, and we are adding retail establishment in that definition, and we're removing definition of professional. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Amendment number 2, as we can see, we are adding, actually, manufacturer uses, we are striking out corporate offices and we're putting in just business offices. We're striking the professional one out of there. We're just putting in business offices and industrial park. Okay, amendment number 3, and that is, let's see, the same, we're striking out retail business establishment and we're adding retail establishment. And in item G, we're striking out personal service shop or service establishment and adding service establishment. And amendment number 4, we are, see, again, we are striking out, that's item E, striking out professional and business offices. And we are replacing it with just business offices, not the professional business offices. And in item F, retail sales services, we are striking that and we are adding retail establishment. Amendment number 5, what we're doing is we're striking out item E, striking out professional business or corporate offices, replacing it with just business offices, not professional business offices. Item F, we're striking out personal service shop or service establishment, and we're replacing it with just service establishment. Item J, we're striking out retail business establishment and replacing it with just retail establishment. Amendment number 6, we are and 6 of number 6, we are replacing or striking out business and professional offices, and we are replacing it with just business offices, not professional business offices. Item 11, we're striking out retail sales services replacing it with just retail establishment. And amendment number 7, we are striking out permitted uses and replacing it with uses permitted. And item C, we are striking out corporate offices and replacing it with business offices, not professional business offices.
No, just to keep it consistent.
Yep.
Because someone said permitted use and use is
Yep.
permitted.
So I think that, yeah,
Why?
I don't know. Hey, you'll see commercial industrial.
I'm no English teacher by any means, but
The numbering in the organization will be changed at a later date. I
It's gonna be a big job.
think it will, yeah.
so that sums it up.
Yeah, it really sums it up pretty well.
Okay. So we will, I guess, take a look again.
Yeah,
Another meeting there. We have time anyways before we have to have public hearings on it.
yep, and he has a couple suggestions. Read the email thoroughly. We have time. Our next meeting, though, I want to solidify this, and we have 3 weeks, so anything that comes up, I'll BCC you guys all on an email. That way you guys have all the information you need well before the meeting. That way we can hopefully get this stuff finalized and public hearing started soon.
Good.
All right. So,
Sounds good. Yeah.
And I have in the minutes that you reviewed the changes that all agreed by consensus. So that it shows that everyone's agreed.
Thank you. Yep, that works. Good, thanks.
yeah, and if you guys want to just chat just really quick about it. One of the changes, which I found interesting, I don't know if we need to do it, was completely striking service establishment and doing personal service establishment. And then having 2 office uses, professional offices and business offices. But I don't know if we need to do that.
If we're, again,
We feel like we need to, we can.
Manchester, New Hampshire or something, we
Yeah.
might need all that, but we aren't. So personally, I don't think we need to do that.
So I think we'll be okay. Yes, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, me too.
Any concerns? I want to hear concerns now. It's not a forever hold your peace type of deal, but you know, if you guys have concerns, please let me know.
Well, probably let me know after you read.
That's great. Yeah.
No, I think it's good.
Yep. And Victoria,
Moving right along, so.
your note on manufacturing is valid. I know you had a note on manufacturing a couple meetings ago.
It's just one of many instances that I
Yes.
saw where we had multiple.
Yeah.
Very similar definitions.
Yes, and
Or uses.
I'm looking into it. Those are a bit trickier though. I'm looking into it. It's probably not going to make it for this round.
Yeah.
But I have noted for next year, we can dig into it some more.
Yeah, we have other,
Yeah.
we have other instances.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. So if you guys find anything else you want to amend, I think we have a little bit more room on the amendments. So if anybody has anything they want to bring up, do that.
on that note, I'll bring up the impact fees again.
Well,
Oh.
okay, just a sec, we're still on the zoning, especially if it's definitions. Victoria, if you had some change on the definitions of the manufacturing, because we're gonna be able to do that in one article. So it won't add anything to it, it'll just add another line item to that article. So,
Well, my issue is very similar to the type of issue that we're talking about here. We have a listed use that is called manufactured uses, then we have manufacturing facility, and then we have a third potential use is manufacturing, production, fabrication, processing, packaging, assembly, refurbishing, and or repair of goods. So, I mean, I'm not sure that that's critical to anything. It's just that kind of duplication of very similar uses that we have. We have later on, we list research and development as one use, and then research and testing laboratory as a second use, same thing.
Yeah.
So,
It's just more examples. So.
yeah, we just got a lot of
so
mix.
we have the definition of manufacturing. It says the act of making goods or articles from raw materials or unfinished products, including processing and assembling. So that's in our definitions.
Okay.
So as you noted in there, we have like manufacturing facility or those types of things in there, right?
Yeah.
We could, under definitions, add those to this definition. We could put manufacturing, common manufacturing facility, or however else we have it in that zoning, and have it covered under that same definition. That way we wouldn't have to change them in all the articles.
Uh-huh.
We just have it covered on the definition. So we could think about that too.
You know, I'm not saying that that's an issue that's been a problem for
No,
us. It's
yeah.
just an instance in our,
Yep.
That's a thing.
you know, we have
Something they
in
can
another
see.
area, we have the daycare facility, we have childcare facility, daycare facility is a second use. And then a third is daycare or kindergarten facility.
Next year.
It's the same thing, right?
Work on those
Yeah.
next year. I almost think we need a whole. I don't want to do that.
No, we'll slowly but surely, because it's not a problem. It hasn't been a problem. It's not going to be. a problem.
Exactly.
So we
Yeah.
just got time to just straighten it out. There's no
Yep.
rush on it. So what we're doing this year is good.
Yeah.
Don't want to avalanche it all, and then next year we'll take up some. So
Yeah.
no problem.
It's like,
Michael York.
Yes, impact fees, being on the CIP, we got lots and lots of expensive bills that are gonna be going on in the next few years. Bob can tell you about the water situation, that's huge. The brownfield's gonna be huge, although on CIP, we've moved that back a couple of years. We've tried to get Richardson Park and stuff in shape, because it's work that we got down there. We got the fire station coming out, that's a huge bill. We pushed back the fire engine back another year, so we didn't want to put both the fire station and the fire engine in the same year. What impact fees do is they help the tax rate. Okay, it's a one-time fee that when a person comes in and they're new and they want to develop something. You have a matrix and a schedule of what they would pay for a fee. Okay, it's authorized under 674-21V,
Thank you.
624-V, yeah, well, it might be even 22V, but it's right there, I've got it right here.
624,
Yes,
24,
no, 677, I'm sorry,
674.
That's what
7.
yeah, I was gonna have this printed out for everybody, but they're on my desk, so sorry. Yeah.
And, yeah, 674. 22V, you have 6 years to spend the money. They come in, we assess a certain fee on what their bill is. That we have 6 years to spend that money. Okay, and with the school, the water company, what we look, at least 6 million we're looking at, Scott, did we say that?
yeah,
At least,
for the water company. you're talking
well,
about
the water
6 million,
company to do that. And also the septic in here, West Point, is gonna have to have some attention. I don't know if that's gonna cost me, it's gonna be awesome. So we have a lot of, and this would actually, if we'd had impact fees already, Flatley would have had to pay a lot more than they did when they got road.
Can you tell, what was it, 670, 674, 22
B.
B?
22.
Or B?
B.
Oh, V.
Like if
B,
you-
okay.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
It goes through, impact fees is an ordinance, the zoning ordinance, it goes through the zoning board here. We write it up and submit it to the town for a vote.
I'm not seeing this.
And we have a lot of examples of what kind of schedule fees that we could do. And what kind of ordinance we could put on. I talked to Adam about it, he has a lot of examples of different towns, like Lebanon.
so there's specific fees for specific things, like water or sewer or roads,
Right,
infrastructure like that. And they're in those specific categories.
but they also go to recreation.
Yeah, and they,
Any of the town services you have.
you can do that, and they have to be spent on those items.
Correct.
No, they cannot be spent on anything else. And with a regional school district, it's a toughie to do that school one, because it's not our school system, it's a regional school system. So that's kind of a bookkeeping nightmare there. As far as school one.
There's our portion that we have to pay, like the new school. Swanzey has a portion they have to pay off that debt. So those fees would be put towards our portion of the debt, not the entire debt.
Debt of,
So it's to our
what debt are we talking about right now?
We're talking about the service debt that we have when we built the school. You gotta have a bond and you have a debt service afterwards.
So you're talking about tying an impact fee strictly and solely to the service debt.
Doesn't necessarily have to be just the
Because
service.
that's what you were talking about. I mean,
But in school-
it gets complicated with the regional school system. is
It
what-
does get a
what I'm
little
saying.
complicated, but we leave that up to the the accounts and stuff, they take care of all that stuff, really. We assess the fee, and then they take care of the accounting. And talking to Mike Brandy about that, that's their job. That's why they go to school. So, if we'd had those already in place, and I know I've been talking about it for years now. We'd have had a lot of money already for flat rate. We could have connected that to the school somewhat.
Somewhat, but it has to be reasonable and it has
to
to.
be reasonable, and that's why you do that matrix.
I've been talking about this too.
Yes, I
And-
do remember you talking.
Other places have been doing this for years. And then we used to think, well, they have more happening than Swansea, but Swansea's on the cusp and has had more happening in the last 3-4 years than we ever did in the past. And we can't just keep on saying, well, they can do that according to our laws and letting them do it. And then we sit and say, we're going to pay for it. How are we going to pay for it? Because once they get their development in, then they're gone. And the people that are involved with the development and the land that has been gone for the development is gone. And they're there and we have to take care of them. So impact fees are not, I don't think they're a bad idea. And I remember a few years ago, when Sarah was here, she was happy to say that people came in and wanted to do things, and she'd say, and they think Swansea is so wonderful, we're so easy. Well, I don't think we need to be that easy.
Depends on what you're talking about.
Well, of course it does, but we can't just lay ourselves out there to be walked over.
But one thing I've heard about people, they think it's gonna be a drag on the economy, the economic growth of the town. It's not. There is a study by a Dr. Nelson, the Brookings Institute. That if you want to look it up, I can't get copies for everybody unless my Adam wants to get them, because it's like 25, 30 pages. But he talks about how it's not a drag. In fact, these corporations are shocked when they don't do it. Because one thing is, if, let's say Flatland was assessed on a $5,000 impact thing. That's a write-off. They don't care. In fact, they look for those things to happen.
And they've seen it before in other
Right.
places. They would be that shocked.
So we've got an example here from City of Lebanon
Right.
there.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Single family detached, they have for schools, it's $2. This is per square foot, $2. Recreation, 76 cents, police department, 28 cents, fire department, 20 cents, comes out to $3.24 total. So if you're talking about a typical house, say just 1,000 square feet, that's $3,000 you're putting on an individual person, putting up a single family home in town.
That's how much? Did you say?
$3,000, well, a little over, 3,000. If it's 1,000 square feet times 3.24, that's $3,240 extra they have to spend to put up their single family residence. So Flatley would have been more than that probably over there.
Without seeing the enabling legislation and, exactly how this would work, I'm not sure we can really speculate too much, frankly. Because often, I can only speak generally, but often there are requirements towns have. I guess, don't we have to have a CIP in place, which we do?
Yeah.
But there are comparable kinds of requirements, right? That municipalities are required to. And I don't know what those are. I don't know if we, I just don't know what's entailed. So
Well, Rick,
I think we have to have some data.
that's what I gave it the RSA.
But it's not, when I looked that up in the book, I can't
Well, I
find
can
it.
tell you as a realtor, in Nashville, I sold places over there. All they did was those people, and some of those houses over there, 400,000 or 500,000 before the real estate. They would just roll that into the payment. That's all. The bank would say, "Oh, that's cost of business."
I'm
Roll it in.
not opposed to the theory at all. I would just like
I
to
know.
know what the enabling legislation is so that I can look it up and understand what it means.
Jane, you had something else for a number? I thought it looked like you wanted to say something there, so that's fine.
Well, I'm just thinking,
Okay.
Yeah, and it would be for new
These-
construction.
The impact fees have stipulations. Or if they don't, they should.
They do.
Okay, so we can't play around with it, or the town really can't play around with the money.
It has to go to that specific line item.
Right.
School rec, police fire.
And it just brought up something that you kicked back. Flatley committed $35,000 to resurface the section of Safford Drive. And in a selectmen's meeting, they wanted to appropriate that $35,000 to do something else with,
Which they could do.
which they should not have been allowed to do.
Shouldn't have been allowed.
Yeah, but it went into the general fund, so they were able to do that. The beauty of this is they can't do that. That money has to be spent on that, what the account is. But
That was the
the money
intent.
cannot go into the general fund.
Yeah, but that was the request
That was the intent, yes,
by the highway department
right.
of Flatley. They agreed to put up 35,000 to resurface. There was a specific
It was,
need and request.
but it was sent into the general fund, so then the selectmen have a power to redirect that to wherever they wanted to.
And they
They
did,
can't do that with this.
unfortunately. Same thing happened, I think, up in Market Basket, Scott, when Market Basket came in and we had millions of meetings and they gave money or set aside money or however you want to say it for Keene to take care of Winchester Street. You been up Winchester Street lately?
So.
Same thing must have happened because they certainly didn't do anything to help with Winchester Street.
Hasn't that been more than 6 years?
What?
They couldn't have put it in impact fees.
No, we aren't talking about impact fee, that
No,
they,
I can't
they just set aside money that,
No.
like Richard was talking about.
Oh, okay.
The company,
Yeah. it's
Market Basket,
Yeah.
gave that,
I think
it
that money,
has this
wasn't that money allocated for Ash Hill?
Huh?
Money was allocated for Ash Hill Road.
Oh,
They took down
I don't
trees.
think so.
Well, it was included in whatever, because they had to take down trees.
Was something about that.
It was,
Well,
do
they had to
recall.
take down
That's-
trees.
I'm mad anyway.
It must have been a portion of Swanzey.
I don't think Keene has impact fees.
No,
No, I don't think Keene
I
has.
haven't heard that they do.
Yeah.
I bet Keene got some money. Keene wouldn't get any money
Yeah,
for
they didn't
Asheville.
get the tax money. Swansea did. They didn't get the tax money though.
No, they
Swansea
didn't,
did.
did they? But I mean, I think they were supposed to, Keene was supposed to have it about.
We put in Market Basket, I recall, did we have to extend the sewer line and water line up there to them?
Yeah, probably, let's see. Yep, both of them were extended from Keene.
Impact fees to the pay for that.
They could have, yeah, but the developer paid for that.
And then we're looking down the road about down Route 10 in the development.
Yeah, but developers probably are gonna be footing some of that bill as well, if that ever happens.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
The Air Force that wants to give up any of that.
Yeah, that's probably pretty unlikely.
But it also helps your property taxes too.
Darn foolish.
So,
So let's see. Updates. We're the fire advisory committee, fire station advisory committee, subcommittee, whatever you want to call it. Pretty much nothing has happened since the last time I updated you. We're waiting. The architect is going to be drawing a set of plans, reduced size plans by about a third. I think I told you that last meeting.
That's where the money goes.
And yeah, that's right. I know. They approved, the selectmen approved $30,000, cap at $30,000 to do that, which I don't know if it was a good idea, and I was at that selectmen's meeting, suggested a different way to do it. But anyways, supposedly they took that $30,000 out of I think it was $100,000 gift that someone had just given to the town for the fire department. Anyways, aside from that, probably November 8th, I think is the number we got to have that set of drawings done. So then with that set of drawings done, then we can get a basic or ballpark cost estimate and know what that might cost us.
Where would it be?
And the location has been decided on, again, the one that they purchased up, was it 321, 321 Route 32 there?
The same place?
That same place, yeah. right there.
Why
And
would
it-
one live in those apartments?
It was decided on that because the town already owns it. And the fact that you can get water up from where the power generator is up that street to serve that fire station. So it was decided that that's probably the cheapest place to build one right there, other than buying a new
And
piece
it's
of
like they
property.
did make, inroads on that line too, so
They did good. Yeah, they're looking at
Yeah,
that. supposed to.
they actually authorized, Michael Brantley to negotiate with the developer. And they
Okay.
authorized, expenditure of up to, I want to say $75,000.
Yeah.
So they're moving forward.
So good, that's forward. So the developer is still interested in it. They have not put their own wells in yet.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay, so that'll help some anyways. if it runs up
Michael
there.
has been talking to me.
Yeah, okay, good. So that's where that is there. We also have a TIF group, a tax increment finance district that is looking at setting one up on Route 10, probably between Winchester Street, South Winchester Street and North Winchester, somewhere in that area there would be the district. And just remind you what that is that it's a district that the lines are drawn and all the property within that district, whatever the value is at that time the district is set up, it's a baseline. So any improvements above and beyond that, the monies can go to pay off a bond for infrastructure in that district. So, you know, if a house is worth $100,000 there, that's the baseline. It goes up to $101,000. That $1,000 can go to pay off the bond for infrastructure in that area there. So it's only for improvements. So what they're looking at is primarily driving it is the acquisition possibly of the West Swanzey Water Company. That would probably be what the bond would be for. And then they're looking at improvements there to the water company itself. That's where that $6 million figure that Michael was talking about, that's not a bond that we're talking about. We're talking about roughly just basically a $750,000 bond, somewhere's in that area there for that. The engineers say that you'd have to put up a water tower, which you would probably have to put up for extra storage. It has a 10,000 gallon tank now, pressure tank. Probably have to have a water tower somewhere. And that and other improvements to the pumps, pump houses and so on and so forth, they figure it costs $6 million for that. So I don't know, we haven't gotten very far on that. So anyways, where we're at is the next meeting, we're going to be deciding if there should be lines drawn, if the district would work. If it would support it, you'd have to have around $2 million of excess or improvement taxes on there to make the bond work. So, and there aren't that many properties on that road. You know, there's Nick's Restaurant, that's waiting to be built on, but that's been for sale for a long time. There's right by Dollar General, that area there waiting to be developed, but again, that's been vacant for a while. You've got a few of the properties that are currently auto places and so on and so forth along Route 10, which may or may not be changed or developed, hard to say. So difficult to say whether that's going to work. But anyways, the job of the committee is to recommend to the town whether or not we should proceed with withdrawing a district and having a district. Then if there was a bond, that would be another thing on top of that. So if the town were to adopt a TIF district, it would be at a town meeting vote, as we always have. 50% of the vote could create the district, but you need 60% to do any kind of a bond. So there we are.
Okay, I'll give you a little update on the CIP and tell you a little bit about it. We've had two meetings since we had ours. The first one we had fire and police. Police is basically, they have no big items coming up this year. Fire, because we have the fire station. So we moved the engine back a year. So we're not creating two big bond issues right then and there. This week we had the recreational department and the recycling department. The recycling department we're looking at, we got to run the numbers again. Giving them a big bump this year before some debt service comes in that we know is coming down the road from school, and possibly from the fire station if they have that. So we wanted, they have equipment that they need that will improve labor, which will improve the labor situation, which we all know it's hard to get labor. And it'll be less costly on the labor and materials, we'll be able to sell more. We get a vertical, I don't know, vertical crusher. Do everything up, and that's expensive, but we're looking to up that from about 100,000 to 250,000 for this 1 year. Like the big bike this year. It's not a done deal yet, we're still looking at it. But as recreation goes, there's some work that needs to be done down at Richardson Park and stuff like that. There's some drainage going on where all the sand is coming down the driveway there and going right into the pond of the lake. So we got to address that issue. So what we did there was everybody's heard about the brownfield 2 phases. Each phase 1 and phase 2 was supposed to be $1.5 million. We pushed that out to what we call Never Land. Because that's more important there to get that done first. And then I think next week we got DPW, which is the one with the most expenses. And then after that, yes, we got the Grange coming in. We gave them some homework to do. They want to try to get more money. So we'll see what we can do. There's a lot of demand on our dollars right now.
Yeah.
And that's the other biggest reason why I want to move back face myself. Thank you for helping.
Let me ask you this, Mike. So let's say that the fire station subcommittee does not get their stuff in time for town meeting, which is a problem. It may not get it. It comes for town meeting. That means that it would not be on the warrant this year
Right.
for monies for a station over there.
Right.
And you've already set the new fire engine for next year. Or you've recommended that. I don't know if that's a done deal.
We haven't recommended.
It's recommended. So anyways, if you do that, the committee doesn't meet the deadline this year, they would meet it next year. So that means that the fire truck and station would be on warrant article next year, and you might have to push the fire truck back another year.
That would
So,
be a decision that the chief will have to make.
but has that been discussed?
Yes.
Do you know that?
Conditional, yes, I was there. The
No,
condition-
has it been discussed?
Yes.
If that doesn't, if the station, if that committee doesn't get it on time,
Discussed, yeah,
that's what I thought. Yeah.
but we have talked to the chief about the condition of the fire engine. Before we would move it back, we wanted to make sure that engine could make it through another year or so. And he thinks it's in pretty good shape right now. This is what he's telling us.
But when it's presented to the selectmen, to keep in mind that if that deadline isn't met by this committee, then that station, that engine could be on this year's warrant.
That's a good note. I'll try to bring that up.
Good. Thank you.
Actually, it's Thursday.
Okay.
No. In fact, you can always come in too and give your concerns.
Yeah, let me know when it is and maybe I will. I don't know.
Thursday at 10 o'clock.
Thursday here at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
This coming Thursday, 10 o'clock?
It's always, sometimes you can't think of everything, you know?
Yeah, let me write it down. I may,
More people should go. That
Yes, like here tonight,
Mhm.
that's a CIP, right?
CIP.
Yeah.
Sit, we call it sit.
Richard.
Just one quick thing. Hyperbaric. When we approved their extension, did they not say they were putting in a building back there for people?
Yeah,
But right now they've got a camper sitting back there.
no, that's not what they're putting up. What they were putting up was like almost a greenhouse type of a thing, translucent panels and so on and so forth. So they haven't done that yet.
No.
So they're,
Okay, they've got a camper back there with the cable for electricity going out to it.
Why don't they use that for a temporary office or something?
well, maybe that's what they're putting in. People are supposed to wait back there, I think, before they go into the chamber. They have a waiting room in that building or where the chambers are.
Yeah.
But they're using this space back there and they wanted to anyway, to more people and they could have their pets back there.
Well, no, I know what the purpose was, but what they're doing isn't what the.
No,
It would be a good test subject for our new forum,
I'd be something to call.
what form is that?
the site plan modification.
Yeah, no, the planning board's.
If they change anything, they would be a good test subject for them. We need a test subject.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second. Hey, motion by Ricky later. To adjourn, a second by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Very good.